Welcome back, Bool Boys Pod, episode 24. As Brian corrected me last week, I was jumping the gun there for 25, but that'll be next week, and we're going to do something with as many guys as from the group who can come. But for this week, we just finished up the NBA IST tournament. Lakers win. We have an exciting new segment for you from Sebastian. He's going to give us a player power ranking. Then we're going to move to Bool or Bust. Top five cereals from me, and then song of the week is courtesy of Brian. Brian, how are you doing? We watched the game yesterday together. You've recovered. Was it good?
Yeah, doing good. The IST was super fun to watch. And you know what, we'll start getting into it, but I'm excited to talk about, LeBron winning just another thing in the notch, and just generally how I think it was a good success for the NBA to pull this off.
It was a fun tournament, and Indiana definitely deserved to be there, but it was kind of a bad matchup for them. We'll get into it in more detail, but Sebastian, how are you, my friend? Tough week for us for Arsenal.
Yeah, not a good Premier League week. Yesterday, really bad sports day until the Lakers took home the inaugural in-season tournament championship. So that kind of softened the blow of a few bad losses earlier in the day.
Yeah, so let's get into the Lakers win. The defense was incredible. Held Indiana to 37% shooting, I think, 24% from three. Halliburton, who a lot of people would consider player of the tournament, only had 20 and 11. And 8 from 14 for field goal, 2 from 8 from three. Just not a true Halliburton-esque game. AD was dominant, 41 and 20, 5 assists, 4 blocks. We controlled the paint 86 to 44, and as expected, they were plus 8 on threes. And we'll get into it more, but that's really why it was closer than it appeared, as we were dominating them, but they were only down by 10 and 12 points. Is because they were consistently up on the threes, something we can talk about later. But great win, but to me, it signaled the need for offensive firepower, but I'll let you guys get into it. What do you guys think about the game? Seebs?
I thought, it seemed like it was a bad matchup for Indiana, but I also think you shouldn't take away from what the Lakers did, because the rest of the league hasn't been able to really do it when it comes to the Pacers.
Good point.
I feel like the Lakers' size was evident in that matchup. Like, the Pacers really had no answer for our attack in the paint. I thought the pace that they play at was counterproductive when it came to dealing with us, because when we got out and ran, they just didn't have the size to deal with our size in the break. And in general, I thought it was one of the more impressive performances of the season for the Lakers. Granted, it doesn't really count for the regular season, but overall, it made me feel a lot better about the Lakers' chances once they get to the playoffs, because they're just a nightmare to deal with in so many different ways, I'd say. The pace they play with, the size, the defense when they buy in. So in general, I was pretty impressed with the Lakers. And it's funny you said Halliburton had like a bad game when he still put up 20 and 11 on over 50% shooting. But it didn't feel like he was controlling the game.
Brian quietly smiles in the bottom corner.
I was saying to Asher, it doesn't mean anything. So I was like, fuck Halliburton, he still had a good game, but I think contrary to during honestly the IST run, he's been having Steph-like performances from the three. And in this game, again, just echoing what Seep said, a lot of the size, I think, was it just interrupted all of that. He was just putting up a lot of threes that he missed pretty badly. But it does make me it was a good sign for the Lakers, but it does make me concerns. Like, I watched the game with Ash, and I kept on turning to him and saying that it feels like we should be up by way more, but just because we don't have that 3-point firepower, even though we were dominating the paint, 86 to 40 some is really, really bad. That's a complete domination. But every time I looked at the score, they were within 5. I think they got within 3 at one point. Luckily we were able to play at a pretty crazy level. AD, obviously, he was getting every board. He was dominating the paint. Miles Turner should be ashamed of, like
you could
how
you could
much,
argue as the best AD game in a year and a half plus.
Yeah.
Playoffs last year, he had some that were pretty unbelievable.
That's true.
But
against the Grizzlies, especially.
Yeah,
that's true.
So I mean, I guess you could kind of say that for regular season, whatever this counts as. I'm not really sure. It was the best in-season tournament performance of his life.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of the thing. Also, like IST is really great, and I think it did a really good job for its first year of it. But I kind of wonder how much of the hype feels manufactured to you guys. Some of it felt kind of manufactured to me, which is fine because they have to. But
it did. But
the importance of it, I think the league is still trying to figure out.
We'll get into that after. Let's finish on the game. But just you mentioned Hallie, obviously, even on a bad day at 2011, I failed to mention that LeBron and Reeves pitched in 24 and 28 respectively. So our big three really showed up really well. I think there was a stat, I think I told you, Brian, like 95 points, 35 field goals, 0 threes.
Yeah.
Our three main players. So incredible stuff from the paint perspective. Two things on what you said, Brian, is one, it kind of scares me because it reminds me of what happens to us versus Denver, because when you play versus such a great offensive team, the margins are so small for a defensive team, especially if you have difficulty scoring. So it was kind of felt like that was going to happen, but they're just not the same level as Denver yet. And Halliburton, as good as he is, isn't offensively a system as good as Jokic. And so that's what really, like we were talking about yesterday, you got to, like, on Lowe's podcast, they said that the Lakers are the 26th best offense and the 6th best defense. And to realistically have a shot, historically, they got to get to at least a league average offense while still maintaining a top 5 to 6 defense. And so how do you do this? Do you do it through trades? It's obviously the easy one. Everyone talks about Rui and D'Lo, but the other one is either you shoot a lot better from 3 or you have some sort of internal development that you didn't expect, like maybe Cam Reddish becomes a great shooter or something, or LeBron starts picking up his threes to like an extraordinary amount. So like these are our avenues, and to me it seems like the only way we're really gonna get to a top 15 offense is if we trade something, and we have to do it in a way where we don't lose our defensive identity, which the great players you saw today. So we'll see. Like Steve said, it is reassuring to say that we get at the toughest level, we can like definitely compete, but over how many games, I'm coming to worried. What do you guys think?
Yeah, quickly, I think I'm always concerned when one of the options is just like be better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, same here.
Especially with LeBron, I hesitate to ask him to do anything more. And Cam has been making great development. He's been great on D. He has been thinking that jumper, like that 3-pointer, slash, just like diving to the basket, getting good baskets. But I think just it's a personnel thing with Rui. I mean, I continue to think he's just like a good body to have, getting boards, kind of mucking it up with people. But yeah, offensively, he definitely is pretty streaky. He has those days where he'll hit 4 threes, and other days where it seems like he can't even make a layup. I don't know what the trade is. I mean, we're trying to figure it out. I don't want to do like Levine or anything like that.
No.
But I guess I toss that to you guys. Like, what do you think we can even do? D'Lo on the table for sure.
Luke Kennard would be an interesting fit. I don't know if Memphis would be willing to give him up, since he's basically their only shooter as well. But when you like, he could fit in pretty well off the bench as a shooting option. But I kind of think one of the problems also is, like, the top three, the only guy you'd say you want consistently shooting a high volume of threes is Reeves. I mean, LeBron does it, and he's shooting fairly well at times, but it's not his preferred method of attack, I would say.
He was really good in the IST, right? Like 60% or something like that.
But I just feels like he doesn't
do that, obviously.
Yeah, he doesn't want to have that be his primary way of attack, and it shouldn't be, because it severely limits other aspects of the Lakers offense. I mean, LeBron attacking the paint is pretty pivotal to our offensive success. But yeah, just when you look at shot value, like that's going to lead to the Lakers having a lower shot value compared to other teams who shoot a lot of threes.
We saw it last year. LeBron tried to shoot a ton of threes, and whether it was his injuries or he's just tired, like they just clanked at the end of the playoffs. And you want something more consistent than LeBron shooting those tough 5 feet behind the line threes. I think that was well said. But overall, what do you think about
guys? When he's
go ahead, yeah, guys, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. His bully ball is just so important. I feel like it's
yes,
yeah.
And he only gets doubled when he's bullying people. When he's taking long threes, he's letting some no-name scrub play him one-on-one and actually think he's doing a good job. What did you guys think about the IST as a whole? Like Brian mentioned, it did seem like the ski masks and drinking the champagne out of the cup was a little much when I first saw it. But then when I really thought about it, if this is going to be our FA equivalent, they do it in the FA Cup. So it seems like a win is a win. Anytime you do it, you gotta celebrate because these things are few and far between. But if you look at any social media engagement, it's just Laker haters coming out in flocks, like giving us no credit and like, oh, what are these guys doing for a IST? It was just a regular season game and stuff. It just is really salty people. But it's typical, I guess. We are Lakers. We are the Lakers.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it that they have the ski masks and the champagne. Again, I think the league is still trying to navigate what exactly this is for everybody, and emphasize it more. Having legends come to the game, having Neo do
that was cool. That was really cool.
Anthem. They're trying to build that this is something really special, and because it's new, I don't think that the audience and even maybe the players themselves even feel that. But I'm not mad that they're trying to generate that hype. It looks pretty cool. I would definitely go next year. I think some adjustments to the earlier rounds of IST would do better in terms of
done, Brian. Yeah,
people being less confused with the schedule, things like that. But
so let's talk about that because that's what I had next. I had some it was great, but there are some minor improvements I would make. What were you thinking, Brian, specifically?
With the schedule or just
like scheduling or the IST in general?
I mean, I think the ideal thing would be to shorten the season and have this just be its own thing. I think shortening the season by 6 games or 7 games would be pretty sick, honestly. That feels like a number that can be accommodated to, so I think that would be the ideal. But for other improvements, I would actually have it just a smidge later in the season. I think maybe we'll be used to it next year, but this year it felt like the season started and IST starts immediately. I think having it start even just 5 games later would have that, so you have a little bit of a sense of what the teams are like and the teams are starting to mesh, and then you go into it with something that I thought would be better for next year.
Well said. I agree completely. I would have switched it to people talk about the 70-game season, 72-game season, and then you had a 6-game tournament with distinct games where people can take breaks. And I think it's important for 2 reasons. It sets a clear boundary because for me personally, when I watched the games, it wasn't always clear to me as a somewhat casual viewer whether this game is counting for an IST or just a regular season game, and them going back and forth was a little bit off. And then this is for a soccer thing too. And to your point, Brian, the Lakers set the precedent that this will be something that you celebrate. So 30 years down the line, when Orlando wins it, they can go down the history and say this is something significant. But a big reason why cups are really interesting in soccer is because if a big team doesn't want to play them, it gives an opportunity for young players to play and for them to make their name for themselves. So worst case scenario, let's say after the Nuggets win another title, Jokic is a little bit too fatigued and they say we don't really want to play him in every single group stage game of the IST, and they only play him in 2 of them. And then in the other 2 games, one of these young players they put in, the example I used was Braun. he starts going off and he finds himself and he finds some confidence and he's able to carry that over. One, he establishes himself in a big like playoff setting, and then two, he can carry that over for the rest of the season and into the playoffs. So like that's the cool thing about FA Cup, Carabao Cup, the other League Cup, Seebs watches as well. It gives players that are not the superstars a chance to make the name for themselves. And down the line, I hope that happens. Like if you have, like I said, a couple games that you don't need to win, you give it to a young player, and let them go. Rest your key players, and it's a cool concept. So those are the two things I really want to see. I want to see a distinct games next year. And actually, to your point, Brian, it'd be cool if they like scheduled it so it ended near Christmas. Like the cup games were near around Christmas or something. Seebs, any thoughts?
So, I don't think we'll actually see the final format until there's 32 teams, because when you have 30 teams, it's a bit clunky. And I feel like eventually 8 groups of 4 is the future of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And it sets a better scheduling. You can do home and away for every fixture, basically. So you would have 6 games in each group stage, which makes more sense, I think, and would probably eliminate all the fuss around the point differential, which I liked. I mean, I think it was good, but it seems like a lot of the old-fashioned, afraid of change people really were in their feelings about it. I'm talking to you, Billy Donovan. But I think one of the issues the NBA ran into with the scheduling and why it had to finish on the specific weekend was because it's basically the only weekend in the calendar where there's no football on a Saturday. Sure. And I think they really prioritized having that standalone value where they didn't have to go up against college football or the NFL. Because when you look at the NFL schedule, next week Saturday games do start. So it just is kind of a logistical nightmare when you're the second show in town. You have to figure out where you fit in. And I think that contributed to why it had to wrap up that specific weekend. I mean, I guess you could wait until the week before the Super Bowl, and that wouldn't be awful either, actually. That kind of sounds nice
the way you describe it. But the way you describe it, it seems like they should do what Brian says. They should start it like maybe 5 games later, but they shouldn't mix in the regular season games. Just take those 2 or 3 weeks to do the entire tournament. That seems like the best way to do it.
It wouldn't be bad. I don't think they'll ever do it, though. Like, I actually do like that idea of it standing alone and having like a 2 or 3 week period. But I don't think they'd ever do it, because I think they are committed to maybe when regional sports networks eventually die out, they can get a little more creative with the 82 games. But until then, I think having to package those 82 games to regional sports network is kind of why we're stuck with this schedule being the way it is. Also just the historical implications, like when it comes to stats and stuff.
Has 82 ever changed, or has it just always been 82 forever?
I'm not sure how long it's been 82, but I think it's been 82 for an extremely long time.
Yeah.
For an entirety of my lifetime, for sure. Our lifetimes, I think, yeah.
Oh, like easily.
Yeah, for sure that. And I think, honestly, going back to like the 80s and 70s, it was still 82. I don't know how they arrived at that number, but yeah, it's been 82 for quite a while.
Yeah. And what you were saying earlier, Ashton, about this tournament being an opportunity for, somebody to break out. That's basically what happened with Halliburton.
Yep.
A lot of his big performances were on these more hyped up games on national television. Prior to that, he had not. I think TNT was saying that he was having his first showing on TNT on one of the IST games, and he did very, very well in it.
That's ridiculous.
He's basically, he's fitting exactly what you were saying. He's carrying that momentum and carrying that hype into the rest of the season. Talking about the playoffs. How this is kind of pseudo playoff experience. So we're already seeing some fruits of that happening.
Yeah, overall.
And I just wanted to add, like, you said you had a hard time distinguishing what days the games were on. I actually thought the NBA did a pretty good job of that, because games were basically only Tuesday and Friday. So it made it pretty clear, like, when you were tuning in on a Tuesday or Friday, that it was going to be an in-season tournament game. But I would say, specifically tournament Tuesday and Friday. But they said, I would say like the first week or two, I actually even had some confusion about it. Like I was assuming like, oh, this is like a whole week of in-season tournament, and then after the first Tuesday, I tuned into Wednesday, and I was like, oh, this isn't the tournament. So that could have been clearer from the start for sure. But once you figured that out, I thought it was pretty well done. But I'd say more of my issues with it were related to the semis in terms of the scheduling and not to the group play. Like I didn't think the 2 p.m. start was a really good idea. I thought it was
that was terrible.
Stupid.
I was like, what the hell? This is so bad.
Yeah, I thought that the NBA doing 2 separate gates, like you have to have 1 ticket to each semifinal, was also just kind of gross. Like,
yeah, for sure.
You're not that desperate for money. You should have sold it as 1 session, and people who go to people get access to both games with 1 ticket. And I think that may have helped with some of the attendance for the first game, because like if you're in Vegas and you're telling me as a fan like, oh, you have to, and the tickets I guess were kind of expensive, so you're telling me, oh, you have to pay for both of these, or you can just choose the one that you really want to go to. I'm obviously going to choose the Lakers one just because it was a more appealing matchup and it wasn't at 2 p.m. in the afternoon in Las Vegas. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of was very stupid.
For a lot of people, that's when they wake up, right, in Vegas. So it's a little nice morning.
Next year.
Oh. What?
Yeah.
I was saying, like you wake up at 1:30.
We don't need for next year is and I think something that we don't need for next year is all the media shilling, dude. We get it. The games are hype.
I didn't mind that as much. I thought it was kind of necessary.
Ridiculous at the end. It's like, it's pretty hype. It's IST, dude. It's electrifying.
True.
I think you just are anti people being happy.
Hey, maybe, man, maybe.
Overall, I thought
some of the games it felt bad. I do think when former players were saying it, they were being kind of genuine, because like they probably were like, "Damn, I wish I had this during my time. Like, look how exciting this is, and the level of play." I think some of the other people who were in NBA media doing it when they were on broadcasts came off as a bit shameless. But like, I don't know. I'm hesitant to be too critical of that, because I get why they were doing it, just because there's so many
me too.
Like dickheaded shitheads online trying to like, who cares about the in-season tournament? It's like, man, they're trying something. Just be open-minded. It's not that hard to just watch basketball. It's not like they're like forcing you if you really are that opposed also.
I agree.
So overall, what did you guys think? Overall, it was a pretty rounding success for the first time out.
Yeah.
And Lakers win. It was entertaining, and a new team that never probably gets to be in this position gets to play in a significant game, and their star player gets a lot of shine. So it was overall well done by Adam Silver. Some little things here and there will change, but it'll get better over time. Okay, let's take a break, and then we'll come back for Seebs' Power Rankings.
All right, welcome back. We're going to do a little bit of a different segment. That segment's going to be the All Seebs early season power rankings. Just as a little bit of a background, over the past few years, I've kind of made I guess you would call it a jokish type All NBA power rankings it's like an All NBA-esque team that I've done over the past few years, called the All Seebs Team, and it's just guys who are kind of dogs. You know, they hustle hard. They kind of they hustle hard. They're kind of agents of chaos. Just kind of pop off the screen. Like I've always said, Patrick Beverley was kind of the spirit animal of this team historically. So, like with that in mind, I think you kind of get an idea of the type of players we're talking about. So, right now, I'd say we'll start from number 1 and go through the top 10. Number 1, I think unquestionably the season has to be Mitchell Robinson. you look at the stats.
My guy,
your
Mitchell.
guy. He's averaging 5.3 offensive rebounds a game, 1.5 steals, 1.3 blocks. He's the league leader in box outs per game with 3.4. And I'd say when you just watch a Knicks game, his hustle jumps off the screen, and it's just, to me, he's the model All Seebs player at this point in the season. So shout out to Mitchell Robinson. You've made it onto the All Seebs team, and you're debuting at number 1, actually. So congratulations. Number 2, Herb Jones. And he's been on the team in the past. Just when you look at everything he does, he's averaging 1.8 steals a game, 1.3 blocks. He's top 10 in deflections and charges drawn, and he's 12th in loose balls recovered, and 2nd in contested threes. So the guy just does everything you would want from an auxiliary role player. He's just an absolute monster to deal with.
Big fan of Herb.
Yeah, me too. Getting his hands
so
in passing lanes. It seems like one of those nightmare wing defenders to go against.
I'm currently trying to get Nom to trade him to me as well, so I can get the top 2 guys
airing
in
out the
Seebs'.
secrets on the pod, bro.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a rough one.
Yeah, I know, but I really want the top 2 players in the Seebs ranking, so I think it's a good list already. So continue, please.
I mean, Herb has also been pretty good on offense too.
Yeah,
he has threes. Pretty. I think he's a really good player.
Honestly. I love Herb Jones. Yeah, that the offensive prowess. If it evolves too much, he might be too good to be on the All Seebs team. Honestly,
too talented for the All Seebs team.
Too offensively skilled to be on the All Seebs team. But we'll see. Number 3, Jalen Suggs.
Good pick.
Didn't think the guy was going to be All Seebs when he was coming out of Gonzaga, but he's really bought into this feisty, fierce competitor role that he has on the Magic, averaging 1.9 steals a game, top 15 in deflections, top 10 in loose balls recovered. And when you watch Magic games, you kind of can see that, especially that last aspect, the guy just seems like he's constantly diving for loose balls. And just he's giving off these insane person vibes when he's out there on the court. And that's what All Seebs is all about, honestly. Shout out to Patrick Beverly, as I said at the beginning. Number 4, Jared Vanderbilt. This one a bit controversial, I'd say, because the games played is significantly less than anybody else on the list. But I just say, as soon as he entered the Lakers lineup this season, you could kind of see the impact he had. I mean, the guy defends 1 through 5. He's a menace, picking up people full court. The hustle stats aren't updated for him yet because I don't think he's qualified due to the lack of games played, but I just couldn't keep him off based on the eye test. And yeah, I'm biased because I love Jared Vanderbilt, but
it's good to have him back.
Vandalorian.
Yeah, I feel like his size was just missing when he was gone for us, and it's really good to have him back.
Just so versatile defensively.
Me and Brian were talking about this yesterday. If you look at our wing players, Vando, Rui, Prince is a very, very solid rotation. I think a lot of teams would kill to have that rotation of 3.
And Cam Reddish too, yeah.
And Cam Reddish is like pseudo wing / guard defender. We're really stacked right there. So
we just need Vando to hit a couple more threes.
Maybe corner threes.
Maybe just even one, dude. Yeah. Maybe just one a game would be good.
One every 4 games would be nice, honestly. 0.25 threes a game would not be horrible. Don't know that we're
some wide open ones. Got to hit those down.
Yes, for the spacing, you definitely do. But I mean, Tony Allen was another All Seebs all-time guy, and that was always an issue with him as well.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It's not part of the list, bro. Not one of the requirements. Number 5. This one was surprising to me when I looked at the stats, but he just couldn't be kept off. And I mean, I've watched a few of this team's games. It's not a good team to watch, but Asar Thompson has to be on the list. I think that's another Ashwin guy, if I'm not mistaken.
He's not on my team, but I definitely wanted to draft him late
that's what it was.
Yeah.
He's averaging 8.5 rebounds. He's top 3 in loose balls recovered, averaging 1 steal and 1.3 blocks. And yeah, the guy just seems like he does a little bit of everything in terms of hustling, and that's really what you would want out of a young wing player. I mean, the 8.5 rebounds
Wing
is really
averaging
impressive.
almost 9 rebounds a game is ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going to say that
as a rookie. And a block, man.
As a rookie, that's ridiculous.
1.3 blocks. He's actually averaging more blocks than steals, which is pretty absurd.
Yeah. And he also has the GOAT moment of the year of smashing Jordan Poole's, shot back after Poole tried to style on him. So
that's very All Seebs.
That counts for something.
Number 6, Alex Caruso. I think he's another one who he's been on the list before and just kind of embodies the spirit of what this team's all about. He's top 10 in deflections and charges drawn. He has 10 screen assists as an off guard, which is kind of crazy. 1.3 steals and almost 1 block a game. So just kind of a dog out there in every sense of the word. Feel like he's had a few offensive games this year, which if he wants to remain on this list, he's going to have to tone those down. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Alex Caruso, I'd say definitely very All Seebsy.
Before you go to your next player, I just want to say, whenever I think of Caruso, I just think of the Wolverine meme. Just like where he's on the bed.
Oh, he's
I miss you, Caruso.
Come back. Kind of do too. Yeah,
we have to pair him with Reeves, dude,
yeah,
so they
dude,
can
it's the next level.
For
it's
the
like
ultimate,
they hate each other.
Because they're always compared. Because they're always compared to each other. Honestly,
it's like a Power Ranger where you assemble like one of those mega robot things, and you're assembling the arms. And now we have like Reeves and we have Caruso, and then we need to get the legs and the face, and then we'll be dang, dude, we'll be fine.
Dude, Reeves and Caruso, combined like a fusion would be crazy. The offense,
it would be.
It'd be like a great player. That'd be the player
the best player in the league, honestly.
That'd be the player we need, dude. That would be perfect.
Yeah, good pick, good Caruso. Always miss him.
Number 7, TJ McConnell.
The poor man's Caruso.
I've been impressed with him.
I like TJ. I've liked him before. I was kind of surprised with some of the numbers when you look at the hustle stats. Like he's top 10 deflections and loose balls recovered, even though he's only playing like a very limited amount of minutes. Also pretty up there in charges drawn. And just like when you watched yesterday's in-season tournament final, I feel like he popped off the screen as like an agent of chaos. Like that stretch he had that brought Indiana back. It was very frustrating to deal with. I mean, the guy was in there getting offensive rebounds amongst like 4 guys who were significantly taller than him. And I was just like, all right, man, like, can somebody do something about this? And I think that type of reaction when you're a fan of the opposing team is what makes somebody All Seebs. You're just watching it and like, yo, man, like, why is this guy outworking everybody on our team? So
a great description. Yeah.
Number 8, Dyson Daniels. He's averaging 1.5 steals. He's top 3 in deflections, top 10 in contested shots amongst guards. Not always the most athletically pleasing player to watch offensively, but his size at the position he plays for the Pelicans is a significant factor for their defense, I feel like. And when he had his run while CJ was out, he was definitely contributing in a lot of different ways to their success. Not at all offensively, because honestly, like I said, it's quite a struggle to watch that. But yeah, I think Dyson Daniels had to be on the list just for the impact he's making when defending other guards. Number 9, this is kind of a legacy pick, just because this year the stats aren't as great as they have been in the past.
Can I guess?
Yeah, go for it.
Is he not playing right now?
He's playing, but it's not as much as he has in past seasons.
I was going to say Marcus Smart.
No, Marcus is definitely not qualified. But
okay.
It does apply to him as well. But no, it's Josh Hart.
Mm-hmm.
He's just kind of slipped, I'd say, this year because Tibbs hasn't really unleashed him. But it's working for the Knicks, so you can't be too mad, I guess. Like, they're not horrible, so I don't know. But I would like to see Josh get unleashed like he was last year. I don't know what's up with that.
Another
really.
Laker alumni.
Yep.
Makes the All Seebs team.
Who else was a Laker alumni?
Caruso.
Oh, Caruso for sure. Yeah. Josh Hart just
Vando technically, but he's already still on.
He is
Lakers,
a Laker,
so.
yeah. Just Josh Hart has to be there based on what we know he's capable of doing. If he was given more of a chance, I'd say. So he's a legacy pick. And number 10, this one really shocked me, but my God, he's in so many of these hustle stat categories at the top. It's Kobe White. Like, defensive rating isn't great.
I'd have guessed that one.
Yeah, dude, if you look at the hustle stats, he's top 5 in the contested shots, loose balls recovered, and charges drawn amongst guards. So, like, he's really busting his ass out there. And
his offense definitely has to be too good for All Seebs, dude.
That part is probably true, yeah. But I couldn't leave him off just because I was going through the hustle stats and I was like, yo, like, why is Kobe White's name always at the top of these lists? Like, what's going on here? But maybe that'll slip over the course of the season and it's just some early season anomaly, but good for Kobe White.
He's playing his ass off while the Bulls are festering. Yeah. That's basically what it is. While the Bulls are imploding within, he's just playing his ass off.
Yeah, I never thought he was the guy who hustled that hard, and that's probably on me because I just hate watching the Bulls, so I don't really pay them much mind. But yeah, good for Kobe White making the making his debut in the All Seebs power rankings, despite
sneaking in there at number 10.
Yeah.
What do the hustle stats entail exactly?
So you got like box outs, charges drawn, deflections, loose balls recovered, contested shots. It's an interesting thing to look at, and I'm kind of glad the NBA keeps it because I don't think in the past you would look at box outs per game, be able to look at box outs per game and be like, oh wow, like that's quite impressive. And it's also kind of funny that it's just 3.4 is the leader with Mitchell Robinson. You feel like it should be a lot higher. But I guess that's like the league we're in right now where you don't always have to box out because people are not crashing the boards very hard. So, yeah, that's the top 10. And I'd say the next 2 who were left off were Dylan Brooks. The stats aren't really there, but the pregame stare downs, he's an agent of chaos. And just a healthier shot diet this year, which makes him less of a disgusting liability offensively.
Dude, I don't know how I feel about the stare downs, man.
They're hilarious, but I don't like them. I don't like them, but they're very funny.
They're pretty funny.
The stare downs are very All Seebs.
You gotta chill out, man.
Yeah. And 12 was Melton, D'Anthony Melton.
Melton's having
top
a great
10
year.
in deflections, top 15 in loose balls recovered, amongst the top in contested shots among guards, and just he has 1.3 steals a game, and he is he pressures full court defensively quite often. It's impressive to watch, but I feel like he's kind of fallen off compared to past years, and maybe that's unfair since he set such a high bar in past years, but yeah, Melton was also one of the first 2 left off. And I just also wanted to mention one player who's definitely offensively way too good to be on this list. But when you look at the hustle stats, he's near the top in many categories, and he's basically a superstar, and that's SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Wow.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like, I was wildly impressed.
Not have guessed him.
Stats. No, man, if you look at the hustle stats, he's like far and away the leader in, I want to say it was deflections. Like he's
leading the league in steals, right?
Yeah,
so
steals,
kind of goes
deflections. Just really loose balls recovered. He's at the top, and contested threes. He's at the top. Like he really is an all-around tremendous player if he's hustling that hard and still putting up the offensive numbers he is. Like, that's absurd. You don't really see that with many of the other superstars. So yeah, shout out to SGA. You're too good to be on this list, but
yeah, way too good.
You might actually be the most all Seebs player on a site. Like, you might have two identities, and one of them is superstar all NBA, and the second identity being grinder dog all Seebs. So shout out to you, my guy.
So my question is, Sebastian, is for our viewers and listeners or whatever, and for myself too, if we want to look up these like very interesting stats, where would we go? Where did you
Google NBA hustle stats? The NBA keeps an official page basically with yeah, and you can sort by position. It's like there are other stats pages where
exercise for sure.
Yeah,
see where your star players are.
I was surprised by a lot of people, like I said, like Kobe White, SGA. That was quite surprising. So yeah, might have to start looking at SGA differently. Like, I don't mean to harp on that point, but never thought he was all Seebs.
So then my second question to you is, Sebastian, let's say is this, and next week will be Brian's player profile, then we'll do another Premier League recap. We come back to you. Will we have an update on the Seebs player rankings, or we have a different power ranking? What are you thinking right now?
Probably different power rankings, because I feel like might want to give more time in between status updates with this, I think, just because I don't know that much would change within.
But we will come back to it at some point during the season.
Yeah, I would say so. Maybe we'll look at it in a month or so, maybe before All-Star break. Something like that.
Okay.
Or maybe
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
It was a good, unique. I thought, when I thought about power rankings, I thought just a simple team, like, oh, this team is doing good, but this is like the next level. And looking at the players, it was cool. It was a cool, unique segment. Thank you, Sebastian.
Well, it makes it easier for me at the end of the season also when I do my official, unofficial All Seebs rankings. Hopefully one day it becomes a prestigious thing that people want.
All Seebs first team, all Seebs second team, dude.
Gonna see Pat Bev holding up number one and mouthing all Seebs.
That'd be sick. That'd be so hype, dude.
And then we can have him on the pod, talk about
it. He might be needing to chill on the media appearances after his performance on Kevin Hart's alternate cast.
Dude, it's so funny, man. It's so funny. That's so crazy. That's too much. It's super out of pocket.
Official broadcast.
Yeah, that was super out of pocket.
It was just very funny. It was the other guys' reactions. They just like,
you want to take this?
Like,
yeah.
Take this, just put it to the side, and let's move on.
You guys want to answer this?
And then they just like, and they just
oh man, they're like, oh man, I don't know, Jesus. Put on the spot like that, too crazy.
Okay, very good, Sebastian. Anything else on your power rankings? Anybody else you want to bring to mention or touch upon?
No, I mean, it's actually kind of funny when you look at hustle stats. It's hard to find the strict like role player guys who aren't heavy minute like starters and all around players. Like, it does seem like there's a good amount of hustle in the league these days, even amongst the top players. So shout out to everybody for working hard this year in the NBA.
I don't know what. Maybe it was like post-COVID. They realized what they lost. Dude.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe that too.
Yeah, I think in season tournament.
Yeah.
People want to win it, which goes back to original point that it was well done for the first time, and people want to watch it, and players want to play it. So that's a success in my book. Okay, if nothing else, Sebastian will come back with top 5 and Bool or bust. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Good.
Peace. Welcome back. Bool or bust, top 5. Top 5's courtesy of me this week. I chose cereal. I went to Pavilions and I just wanted some cereal, and I looked at the numerous options that you can have for cereal, and I was just like, it's probably make a good top 5. So that, and then Brian, a song of the week. So let's get into it.
Anyone want to go first for Bool or bust?
I feel like you do, bro.
Okay, I can go first, but
he was ready for it. He's like, oh yeah, you're actually right. You're actually right.
Yeah, before that, I wanted to tell you guys off camera, but I'll tell you on camera, is that I went to Panda Express like 3 days ago, and it was after the gym, and I was like very hungry. So it was already 8. It was late. It was like 8 o'clock, and I thought it would be quick. So that's why I went to Panda Express, because I wanted to be a quick meal. So I ended up going, and lo and behold, I'm behind like a youth women's basketball team. And so there's like 30, there's like 20 of them, 3 coaches, and they're literally taking forever. And I'm standing behind this nice elderly gentleman who like every like 2 minutes would just turn around and like give me a head nod, like I can't believe this is happening, or something like along those lines. Just making really snide comments and stuff. But upon closer examination, I found that was not actually a youth like NJB team. It was the IVC Lasers women's basketball team.
Oh, that's better than what I thought it was gonna be, but it's still not great. I thought it was gonna be something else.
Dude, what I'm really trying to say here, it's a non sequitur, but they look so young. They honestly look like they're teenagers. And there was a couple young women who were like taller than me and bigger than me, but the majority of them were just like people we would see on our high school basketball team. You know, like it looked like that, like young, looking Asian Latino woman. Like it's just like I don't know how to describe it, but like you know what I mean. Like you go to Ken Roy's camp, and you go and you see like all these young girls, and they could be like they're high school girls trying to train and stuff, and that's what it looked like. Well, and it was just shocking to me because, yeah, go ahead.
Technically, aren't they teenagers? Because it's IVC, so they're like 18 and 19, maybe 20 at oldest. Because technically right. It's yeah. So,
but we're just getting old, bro.
Yeah, that's my key point. Is that when I really thought about it, it's not that they look young; it's just that I have aged. And so when I look back at an 18 or 19-year-old, it actually looks like a 15-year-old to me, because I don't know. But it was, when I look at them, I couldn't see them like taking on other college women's basketball teams and doing any business. Like they were like very unathletically imposing. So I'm just curious, like that's what IVC is.
What teams does IVC play?
I would assume teams that are in like some Southern California junior college conference. Like I would guess like Saddleback maybe, and like maybe OCC. I'm just guessing off the top of my head. Like I would just guess it's like local junior colleges.
How dank these leagues are.
I look up IVC League, and the first thing that comes up is IVC Esports League of Legends.
Probably pretty good at that.
Yeah, that's the new wave, dude. Yeah. There's like college teams for esports and stuff. Okay. We missed the wave by 5 years.
I'm not
glad to have missed that wave.
Yeah, relevance. Yeah. So Ridgewood, Indian Valley, yeah, something like that. Looks like teams like that. Just wanted to bring it up. It was very shocking, and more of a. I was hanging out with Brian, and we're like, "Yo, I'm going to turn 32 next year." Seebs, you're 32 right now, right?
Yes.
You turned 32 like last month. Yeah, it's just crazy to think about. They actually aren't going to look like that from now on. But go ahead, Seebs.
Just with the junior college thing, so we're in the part of like the college basketball season where it seems like a lot of these teams are scheduling up games against like Division III or National Christian College Alliance universities, like basically exhibitions that count on their record, just because I think it's hard to get opponents around the holiday season. And there was a game yesterday between, I want to say North Dakota State and some school in Bemidji, Minnesota, that's a national Christian college. And those kids on that team looked like they were like 13 and 14 years old.
Yeah.
And they lost,
exactly.
I want to say it was 108-14. So
what division is this?
Well, North Dakota State it was either North Dakota or South Dakota, but they're Division I. They're like a decent mid-major school. But they scheduled a game against the National Christian College Alliance Association, whatever they're called, team, and they won 108-14. And it just has raised the question, why would you schedule a game like that? And like a lot of teams are doing this when you look at like the breakdown of the days. And I just think it comes down to, it's hard to get teams to play you around the holiday season because people have finals and shit. So they want to take it easy.
Is it even worth playing that game? I feel like just
I don't know.
Let him take the day off. It's like it's not even the same league.
Yeah, the leading scorer on I need to remember the name of this. It was like Oak Hill Christian University, I want to say. The lead scorer had like 7 points, and they had more turnovers than made field goals in the entire game.
Oh, God.
I mean, yeah, 14 points or whatever it was. Like, very believable. They're probably picking you every time you're dribbling the ball up court.
Wait, you said 14? You said 14?
14 points, yes, total. In 40 minutes of
basketball. It was 114, 108.
No.
And it's like,
no,
all right,
no.
that's
1-4, dude. That's not even worth playing. That's not even worth playing, in my opinion.
Tying it back to the IVC thing, I think like when you do get to the lower divisions of college athletics, sometimes it does legitimately look like they're just like kids because they weren't recruited. They're just there for like the love of the game, essentially.
I see.
I want to say this university had like 80 people enrolled in their school. So like fielding a basketball team was quite the accomplishment, I feel.
I will say though, isn't basketball a winter sport? So shouldn't they be technically starting like next month? Really in earnest?
Winter season technically that's a good point, but I'd have to look into that. I know maybe the NCAA winter schedule is a little different because wrestling is a winter sport and it starts around the same time as basketball. I don't know what else is winter, but it seems like they start in like November. That's just like winter schedule.
Regardless, it's a big roundabout way to get to Bool or bust, but
yes,
just getting old, man. Just getting old, and young people. Everyone looks young to me now. That's the realization.
So, you're still young, Ashwin.
Thank you.
You look young, dude.
I needed that, Brian. Thanks, man. Okay, so me and Brian went and saw the IST final on what's a couple of JT on Saturday, I think.
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
correct.
And afterwards, I was sending him a couple YouTube videos, and I sent him a screenshot of what my shorts recommendation was. Do you remember that, Brian?
Of course. How could I forget?
Yeah. So that just made me realize, like, it's a rebusting, if you want to say, but the YouTube algorithm is rebustible. But the YouTube algorithm is way too sensitive, man. You watch one video for too long, and instantly your entire feed becomes inundated with that one thing. And I'm just a man of many hobbies, and I would like to see all of my hobbies on YouTube as opposed to just the one I'm caring about right now. And the reality was, what I sent to Brian was, it was just a bunch of K-pop singers. And one LeBron.
Ashwin's beyond saving, dude. That was my response. You're beyond saving, Ashwin.
And like the thing is, like, it's 4 or 5 of them, one cooking thing, one Dota thing, and one basketball thing. And like I'm saying, like, I don't like K-pop that much. I was just, maybe it knows better what I like than I need or what I really want, but it's just way too sensitive. And then
the algorithm knows you better than you do, Ash. But you do love K-pop, whether you know it or not, dude. You do love K-pop, dude.
To prove a point, I immediately after I just started liking a bunch of weird shit on the shorts, and like within 2 minutes, the shorts algorithm changed.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the overall theme. Is it's just way too sensitive. I like the biggest example is it took 10 or 12 years for StarCraft 2 to come back on my feed. And I was a hobby of it. I enjoyed it. It was a hobby of mine the entire time, but the YouTube algorithm didn't think I wanted it for 10 years, and then finally it came back. So it's just not adequately portraying what I'm interested in my opinion. And then Bool, any comments on that before I move to Bool?
I agree with you, and to counter it, I often will go to my history and delete a video after watching it, just if I think it's going to fuck up my algorithm.
Oh, that's smart.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I've done it for a while when I noticed it, especially with shorts, because I'll click
very sensitive.
I'll click a clickbaity short and watch it, and I'll be like, this is ass. I don't want my recommendations to be affected by this terrible video, and I'll immediately go delete it from my history.
like I can tell my recommendations are crap right now. I could tell my recommendations are crap right now, but then it's also like I don't know. I like forget what I liked to watch. It's like so now it's just like a endless hole of shit, basically.
Mine is
that's what the homepage should do. It should remind you that, right? Sorry to cut you off, Sebastian, but it should remind you what you like. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, mine is pretty solid because I watched a bunch of the Overlap podcasts and like some soccer recap videos, and so my thing is just all English soccer punditry, and it's quite entertaining. I've actually greatly enjoyed my YouTube the last few days, but I know it'll get bad eventually again.
To your point, Seebs, I just got home and I was waiting for you guys to get on. I was watching CBS Sports Galazzo shorts with Kate Abdo, Jamie Carragher, Thierry Henry, and Micah. And I watched like three in a row, and then that's exclusively what my algorithm is. I just think I brought it back. Like, it's very funny. And you brought it up like a week or two ago that you really like the CBS crew, and they're growing on me considerably. They're very funny.
They're great chemistry.
Yeah, like a little pseudo TNT vibe going. My Bool, I mentioned it to Brian, I think this week. I picked up Cyberpunk 2077 plus the expansion. It was on sale last week, and I think it's significantly one of the better games I've played on my computer. It's just for how bad it started and how much they've improved it, I think they deserve some plaudits. So it's a really good game, and I think, Brian, you would enjoy it if you ever do get to it. So,
yeah, I probably should. Probably need a new computer also.
So I'm just to give you some brief overview. You can choose whatever class you want, and the class I'm choosing is a guy who can slow time and slice people up with a katana, and then also hack them with a hacking sword guy. So it's cool. Sure. There's a lot of diversity. So that's my Bool or bust. Pretty simple. Who's next?
I can go next. Pretty simple this week for me. The Bool is the return of the Queen, Onika Tanya Mirage, aka Nicki Minaj, with Pink Friday 2. I really enjoyed her last album, or the one that just dropped on Friday. It was nice to hear one of the 5 most important artists in hip-hop return with a pretty solid project. You don't really get many projects that are as big as that on the annual basis, I'd say. You get like Drake, who kind of sucks ass now. You might get a J. Cole. You don't get Nicki every year, so when Nicki drops, it's a pretty big deal, and I thought she did a pretty good job. It's just like I said, I'm kind of a stealth Barb, so they're like the one stand.
When did it come out? I need to listen to it.
Friday. Last Friday.
I like Nicki, man. Nicki's sick.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a stealth Barb in disguise. I'm it's the one stan group that I support fully. I love the Barbs.
That's Nicki Minaj's stans, Barbs.
Yeah, the Barbs. Yeah.
As in Barbies.
Yes.
But okay.
Yeah, the Barbs.
Learn something new every day.
She has like a song where she samples Notorious Thugs, the Biggie song, but it's called Barbs Are Dangerous or something, and it's pretty funny. Like it's a good song, but I was like, damn, Nicki's going in. And yeah, there's just a certain vibe that she brings that I don't think many artists can bring. So then I'll add another small Bool since this just happened, but it's been nice to hear a positive Cowboys media cycle and a nice positive Dak media cycle after the win over the Eagles yesterday. These are very rare. People usually just love to shit on us, so I've been kind of basking in the positive reinforcement. So thank you, media, for being nice for once.
I feel that. I do it every week for Arsenal.
Pretty much.
Not this week.
But my bust is the highlight of the week, and it's going to ruffle Ashwin's feathers, I already know. But the bust of the week is Mr. John Rahm, the fraud in the golf world, who everybody tried to pump up as some really cool, awesome guy, so likable and relatable. He just dipped for live.
He's not.
No, yeah, I never bought into that shit because he rubbed me extremely fake. Like, he just seems like a very phony guy. and he's a fucking Sun Devil, like a devout Arizona State grad who reps them very hard. Like, you're from Spain, bro. You chose to be a fucking Sun Devil. You came to the States and that was the school you chose to go, like the school you chose to go to and rep. Fuck you, man. So don't like John Rahm. Never did. Started to slightly believe he may be a cool guy when he won. I don't remember what tournament it was last year. It was a big deal though.
Masters, right?
Yeah, it was the Masters, I think. It was either that or the PGA Championship, but Masters, I think, is correct. And I just really enjoyed. It was a bust that I enjoyed because it was like I got proved right that John Rahm just kind of sucks.
I mean, you can say I ruffle my feathers. I also think he sucks, so I have to agree with you. I've seen some like videos of him like with YouTube golfers, and he's just a very bland, unpersonable guy. So I don't really see it. Like, people say Xander Schauffele is like a very bland on the course, but if you get him off the course, he's kind of like a big bro, like chill bro. But a lot of golfers try to present that front, and it's not true at all. So I don't see it with Rahm. Like, I just think he's a stiff.
I think Xander went on McAfee's pod last year, and he was actually pretty likable.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, John Rahm, you are the bust of the week. And I was very excited when the news broke that he just sucks ass. I was like, yes, I was proven right.
But $300 million, Richard. So...
Yeah, I don't care. Rory's still the only one who has dignity.
Oh, I should bring up Rory as a bust. Or I've already done it, I think. So.
You've done it like 3 times, I think.
Yeah, so he's not your countryman. I don't know why you claim him.
Hey, he's Irish.
Northern Irish, right? It's not the same as Scottish.
He says he's Irish.
Okay.
I think Rory has very complicated political views that I don't fully understand when I look into them, actually. So, like, I don't really know how to feel.
What? Ireland has sneak preview.
Ireland has tried to claim Rory, and so he hasn't fought back against it. So, shout out Rory. I'll still support you, mainly because everybody else in golf sucks.
Okay. I would argue that yes, that's what golf is missing too. They need the next Tiger, and it sure as hell wasn't Jordan Spieth. So,
no, maybe Colin, but Colin's not winning enough.
He's not winning enough, and it's not the same. Like, when he wins, it's just like very technical. It's not like grab your balls. I just hit a chip shot out of the sand, and now I'm winning a multi-million-dollar tournament type thing. So I don't know. Okay, Brian, anything else, or we'll move to top 5?
Yeah, I still have to do mine.
His bulls are busts, bro.
I don't want to hear him anyways, to be honest.
No, mine are pretty simple. I mean, I'll start with the bust. I also don't know if this is a rebustable, but I think we should coin that, because I feel like I have repeated things that bother me, but they're the same things. I may have mentioned this before, but my hatred for white Teslas has grown to a sky high. It's like nothing says like the sterility of people in Irvine like the white Tesla, where you can really pull up to a streetlight and there will be, no exaggeration, like 4 of them all just chilling with it. Yes. You're like, dude, you've got to be kidding me, right? And so it's just something. I mean, as a car, I'm sure they're fine, but there's just something very about them cruising together at these streetlights in Irvine that remind me never to let up on my hatred for these damn people. I know Jesse has one. No offense, Jesse, but you're part of the problem, buddy. You're part of the problem, dude. If you're listening. So that will be my bust.
And can I also mention that they're normally going 10 to 15 below?
Yes, that was what I wanted to say. I think we've discussed this before. But yeah, they're the new Prius.
That might have just been about traffic or something. I don't think I've like specifically.
No, you haven't.
You haven't. I've complained about slow traffic before, but when you brought up the white Tesla, it always seems to be the white Teslas that are going slow. Just one observation. Yeah,
it's the auto drive, dude. Everyone's
I would
on
prefer
auto
drive in some cases, honestly, Brian.
And then for Bool, pretty simple. Just Amazon during the holidays.
Yeah.
Black Friday sales. shopping for family. It makes it just so much easier, even shopping for like just for friends, of having different recommendeds, and all of the different things that they can recommend to you. And also when I'm just kind of buying some things for myself, it just very, very good. I think it does take away some of the magic, I guess, of the holidays for me, like not going to like South Coast, and South Coast is like pretty cool to go shopping and look at all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to get what I need to get done. So I'll just shout out Amazon, I guess, just like online shopping in general, specifically for the holidays.
Nice Bool, because I think we've talked about it before too on this segment. Like going and shopping in stores as a concept seems nice, but if you go there and they don't have any of your sizes or any of the colors you want, and they just say we'll order it for you, why didn't you just order it to begin with? So like that's honestly been my experience for the last like year or two since Amazon really took over. When I really need something on the same day and I want to get it, I can never get it because they always say I'll order it for you when you go to the shop. So it's just like, what's the point?
Well, Brian does have a point. Like there was something magical, maybe exciting about like you had a rough idea of what you wanted to get somebody, but like you were limited to the options that you had in front of you, so you had to pick something in the store. Like that was always kind of exciting. Like an idea would pop into your head as you were in the store. But like just dealing with the hassle versus I'm just going to order something online specifically that I know they'll like, it's night and day. Like the pros definitely outweigh the cons in the online shopping versus brick and mortar debate.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Seebs. You hit it perfectly. Okay, move to top 5. All right, let's take a quick break and then we'll move to top 5. Top 5, courtesy of me this week. I chose cereals and mentioned at the top of the Bool and Bus segment. Why? But does anyone want to go first?
I could go first. I'll say for me, I'm not much of a cereal eater, so this was kind of difficult for me. I think
even
I used
in your
to
youth.
In the youth, not a whole bunch. Like we definitely got cereal, but it was kind of the same ones. But I do definitely have some ones that I do like.
Okay.
So I'll start off at number 5 is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Pretty good. We used to always get it a lot, but then we stopped getting it because there's just too much sugar, which I'm sure like there are on a lot of these other ones
all
as
of
well.
Them.
All of them do.
All the dank ones. I will say though, the ones that I do tend to like are the ones that also are very pointedly changing the flavor of the milk also, which I mean, again, is a lot of them, but for like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, my next one as well, Frosted Flakes. I kind of grew as a similar. I really like this. Very simple, but super dank. I used to mash Frosted Flakes all the time. And shout out, what's the tiger's name?
Tony the Tiger.
Is it Tony? Is it just Tony, dude? Yeah.
It's great.
Shout out Tony the Tiger. I think he's a sick mascot that unfortunately has kind of just disappeared. I guess all the cereal mascots.
He's peddling kids.
What?
Yeah, what are you saying?
How dare you?
It seems par for the course for all our heroes. Yeah, just canceled. Go ahead.
Is he?
Number 3.
No, I don't think so. I made that up.
I look forward to seeing him at the Tony the Tiger Bowl this year. He's usually at one of the bowl games.
For my next one, I don't really remember the exact brand, but I think it was Cheerios. But they had within the Cheerios basically like these yogurt clusters that it would just kind of like melt in the milk, and it would just make the milk taste a certain kind of like blueberry flavor or something like that. So I have that at number 3. I really like those a lot. At number 2, I have Raisin Bran, kind of just a classic raisin in the cereal. Again, these are some of the things that might seem healthy at first, but probably have a lot of sugar, especially with Raisin Bran. Like raisins seem to be kind of healthy, but when you look at not to be like a downer, but the nutritional value of a lot of these raisins shit, it has a lot of sugar. And but as a kid, you thought it was healthy, so it was healthy. That's all that matters. And then at number 1, I have Honey Bunches of Oats. We still get that sometimes. And definitely one of my favorites. I think it's just kind of a classic, good cereal. So that would be my number one.
I don't think I've ever had Honey Bunches of Oats.
Oh my god, dude!
It was a big thing for my family for many years, for sure.
It's kind of it's basically
like
Costco, the double
back.
isn't it?
But they have these like clusters in them. That's very good. It makes
I have had these. My bad. I've had this.
They're so dank.
Yeah, it seemed. I don't know.
Yeah,
yeah. I hadn't. I didn't know what the name was, but I've had it before. Wasn't big in my house.
Very lukewarm response from Sebastian here.
You'll see. We're a little different.
Quite lukewarm, dude.
I was gonna say, Brian, you mentioned that none of these cereals are healthy, and it's true. I recently just looked at them, and they're tons more sugar than they need, and a lot of bad red dyes that are apparently or blue and red dyes that are bad for inflammation and stuff. But one thing, if you really evaluate what not like people here who can spend whatever they want on breakfast, but lower middle class family, what the kid can have for breakfast, it's either that cereal or Pop-Tarts or Eggo waffles, dude. And I feel like those are way worse, honestly. So
sure,
Danishes, I don't know.
Waffles might be slightly better if you eat them plain. That would be the one that I would.
Maybe just a dab of syrup.
Yeah, those are probably better than some of these cereals.
Because nobody eats the recommended cereal. It's when I used to eat cereal a lot, I'd probably eat 3 times the serving size. You know what I mean? It's 5 times the serving size. Super fucking mash it. You know, I wouldn't even eat it for breakfast. I'd eat it as
a night sometimes.
A night snack or something like that. Yeah,
that's true.
It's probably true. Okay.
Yeah, I'll go next if Brian's
go ahead.
Oh no, that's all. Didn't really have too many honorable mentions for this one, unfortunately, because I've never really been too big of a cereal person.
Yeah, I kind of haven't. I don't eat cereal at all anymore, really. But there was times in my life where it was a popular breakfast option. So it was fun to go back through memory lane and remember what I liked. So 5, I went with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I think, is that where you had it as well, Brian?
Yeah.
Nice,
dude.
Yeah, nice. Cinnamon Toast Crunch was a great time. Really enjoyed how it changed the flavor of the milk, as Brian said. But it was one of those things you have to eat it quick because it did get soggy very fast. 4, I had Cheerios, and that's all varieties of Cheerios because they really started to come out with some great flavors later on. They had the chocolate Cheerios, they had the strawberry Cheerios. I was a big fan of all these gimmicky Cheerios. 3, Cap'n Crunch. Big fan of all varieties of Cap'n Crunch. Yeah, great cereal. Still, in the rare chance I go to a yogurt land, I do enjoy getting Cap'n Crunch on top of my frozen yogurt. 2, Cookie Crisp. I feel like it's an overlooked tremendous cereal.
That's pretty hype.
That was a huge miss by me. Yeah,
I think maybe because it was a post cereal and not a Kellogg cereal, people don't remember it as well. But Cookie Crisp was the shit. Definitely not healthy.
Cookie Crisp was crazy. That's a great call.
Cookie
Crisp was crazy.
Yeah, Cookie Crisp was definitely up there for me. And then 1 might be controversial, but this is my favorite cereal going back to when I was very young, eating it at my grandma's house because I think my uncle really liked it. And that's Golden Grams. Loved Golden Grams.
Okay.
Still love Golden Grams, honestly. We'll always be down for a bowl of Golden Grams.
It's not like you said Raisin Bran.
Oh, yeah, I didn't want to comment on that. I didn't comment on that. I just let Brian have that one. Dude. I let Brian have that one.
Dude. That's the one. My fiber, dog. My fiber, bro.
I think raisins are a hard sell to a child. I think that was why I always was
that's what I'm trying to say. Growing up,
raisins are chill.
Raisin Bran is the one cereal I wouldn't have, probably.
Really?
Shout out.
Yeah. Now I would, for sure. No problem. But back growing up, no way. Yeah.
Raisins are dang.
I like raisins. It's just raisins and cereal.
Raisins are dank.
They are dank. Raisins are a good food. I'm a big fan.
Raisins are dank.
I just don't know what it was about the. I think it might be the bran issue. The bran is the part that I didn't like, not the raisin.
They just needed some kind of animal,
Yeah,
a cartoon animal to market it to you. Yeah, Raisin Bran with the gorilla. Have some jungle food with
Riley the gorilla who loves raisins.
I guess that's the thing that's kind of understated. Like a lot of the OG cereal brands have like some pretty memorable mascots. Tony the Tiger,
heavy advertising campaigns.
Lucky Charms, there was those the leprechaun and all that
crazy
stuff. Yeah, super crazy.
Cocoa Puffs, going Coke.
Cocoa Puffs, Life. Even I don't think I've ever had a bowl of Life in my entire life. But
so many Cheerios commercials.
Crazy commercials.
Cures was the bee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the honeybee.
It's a machine. It's a corporate machine for America's breakfast.
And then for honorable mentions, I just had Apple Jacks and Frosted Mini Wheats. But with Frosted Mini Wheats, that's like the king of you better eat that shit immediately, or it's just gonna be a soggy mess, and you're gonna fucking hate every minute of this.
Yeah. A lot of overlap between me and you, Seeb. So anything on Sebastian's top 5, Brian?
No, I think pretty good.
Thank you.
So I'll start number 5. I'll do Honey Nut Clusters, which is a kind of I think the father of what you mentioned, Brian. I think they discontinued it, but it had like these little almond clusters. I think there was a squirrel on the box. So and my entire family liked it. My mom and my dad liked it, so we could all eat it. So it was good. Number 4, Special K chocolate version. The little pieces of dark chocolate in them. I like that one a lot.
Excellent.
And I don't. The thing is, when I looked at the box, so we've been talking about the health. If I can break my top 5, we've been talking about the bad health aspects of cereal. And when I looked at the Special K with chocolate, and I looked at Lucky Charms, they were in essence the same nutritionally. And I didn't.
Yeah, but bits of chocolate are that's gonna
dark chocolate
down to look
dark chocolate, and they weren't like sugared brands, as you say. So I don't know, because they fortified the shit out of those kids cereals with like extra vitamins and stuff. So I don't know. It's probably a more of a components thing if you want better components in your body. But
sure.
Special K chocolate at 4. Number 3, I have Captain Crunch as well. I would also say that I'm partial to the one with the berry flavor ones as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Kix knockoff. And then for number 2, Reese's Puffs. Reese's Puffs, like you said, mentioned, Brian, they make the cereal really good. They're like my version of what a Cocoa Puffs did for a lot of other people. I wasn't the biggest fan of Cocoa Puffs. And then number 1, a variation of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You never find it anywhere. Came in the big red box, but French Toast Crunch was my favorite by far. Yeah,
hell yeah!
It made the cereal excellent. It was like just little pieces of French toast. Can't find it anywhere. Like I said, if anyone knows where to get it, please tell us. I'll go get
I think
some.
It was discontinued, wasn't it?
Probably because too much like sugar. It's probably had like
in
80 grams of sugar.
Yeah, in 2006 it was discontinued, but if you go to Canada or Australia, you can still get it.
All right, there we go. Bool Boys road trip.
Go up to Vancouver for the French Toast Crunch.
I'll be down, dude. Whatever.
Gonna rent a truck, and Ashton's just gonna export boxes and boxes of French Toast Crunch back
across the border. Yeah.
Customs people gonna have a field day.
Yeah.
What are you planning to do with this,
We'll go next week. Yeah. But yeah, that was French Toast Crunch at 1, and then honorable mentions: Apple Jacks, Smacks, and Pops.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll get into a little more serious top 5s next week. I thought we could do one on holidays, holiday related or something, but we'll probably have one more, just so we know, because we're all here. Next episode will be on the 16th or 17th, coming out on the 18th or later. But then I don't want to make these guys do anything on Christmas, so I don't think we'll take 1 week off. That's okay with you two guys, and then we'll come back for New Year's, or we'll try to fit one in. If there's a lot of good bowl games I want to talk to you about, Sebastian.
Yeah,
we can do something in between Christmas or
That sounds good.
And then the 25th is next episode. So Jesse's coming on for sure. I'm going to try to bring a couple of the other Bool boys. And I wanted to do something on like the eras, everybody's eras as we go through the last 5 years. Like for me, there was the middle school era, and then there was the high school basketball era, which Brian opted out of willingly. Bye. And then
it's a different era for me.
Different era, yeah. Our paths crossed again, Brian. So it's fine, but you missed out. And then me and Seebs went to the IVC era, which read a lot of things. You had your USC era, and then post-college era, and now adulthood era. So there's like, you could define different things in different marks. Or another thing I thought about was maybe doing something on all of our nicknames and the origins of the nicknames, if people are willing. If people are willing.
It's fun. That one's fun. Sure. I mean, I don't know if we can go into like Brian's OG nickname. I feel it would be a.
It's like it doesn't even come from anywhere. It doesn't even come from anywhere. It doesn't come from anywhere.
20 years later.
Because I'm already thinking about it. It didn't even come from anywhere. Somebody just one day said
honestly,
it, and like
I got my lick back on the guy who gave you the nickname, bro. I got the lick back. I got the lick back on the originator of the nickname for you. I avenged your honor.
Yeah, they'll well, we'll store that one away. I don't mind talking about that because I didn't do anything wrong. Y'all are just a bunch of motherfuckers. That's basically it.
It's fair. It's fair. It's organization of the behavior.
But we'll think of something. But I want to do something with as many of the Bool boys as possible. But yeah, maybe we'll do, instead of the era one, we'll do nicknames or something like that. And then, that's the plan for the next 1 or 2 weeks. Brian, you have Song of the Week?
Yeah, so the Song of the Week is from somebody called Swell. Again, continuously on just like the SoundCloud beats, but this person makes kind of just remixes of really popular songs. The song is called Of Me and You. The reason why I chose it is because it does have a bit of like a Christmas vibe to it. It is kind of like a short interlude thing, but it's definitely something that I always play a little bit more during the holidays.
I have to call Sebastian out. Every time me or you have a Song of the Week, you can instantly hear him typing it up in the background.
Yeah, you are correct. I'm always curious. I always want to listen to it afterwards. But also I'm laughing right now because I Googled the song name and something very funny came up that I won't say on the pod.
All right. End there, I think, before it gets any worse.
All right, bunch of motherfuckers.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian, for Song of the Week. Thank you, Seebs, for joining. We'll see you next week for a 25th episode. Take care, guys.
Peace.
Adios.